They literally pump out things that destroy children.
My pronouns are they, them.
Thanks. I'm Sam. I'm she, they, but you already know that.
Wow, what an amazing city.
I'm sorry for how I reacted. It's just, sometimes the world can be a scary place. It's hard to know who's dangerous or not.
That's true, though disappointing.
Hey, it's okay. I know I'm safe when I'm with my friends or other non-binary people.
Non-binary?
People who aren't female or male. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have assumed.
I always knew my pronouns felt right, but what a wonderful word for a wonderful experience.
Here at Target because I heard that their new Pride collection was out, so let's take a look. This is a special swimsuit. It is invented for tucking. Live, laugh, lesbian. Are they amoebas? These don't even look like people. Queer. This right here. These are baby clothes. They say that grooming isn't happening, then why are there Pride baby onesies? Trans people will always exist. This is the ugliest shirt I've ever seen. I don't care if you're queer. Why would you wear this? This is ugly. Kids going to a pride parade. You got a little pride skirt for your kid. Super queer. It's like a superpower. Honestly, Target, what is going on? This is pretty disgusting. A whole collection for pride. The tucking bathing suit, though. This is something new. I have yet to see a bathing suit that is for tucking.
Can anyone tell me where me, a real woman, can now shop for swim clothes? Because apparently Adidas is not an option anymore. They've bowed down to the woke lords. There's a Pride swimsuit on the women's section of clothing. It's not labeled as unisex. It's not labeled as trans inclusive. This is a women's swimsuit modeled by a man. Okay, so here's Adidas women's Pride collection. And literally half of these clothes are modeled by men.
Yalla.
My name is Faye Johnstone. I'm the Executive Director of Wisdom to Action. We can create a world where everyone is able to live in public space as their honest and authentic selves. See the woman changing how we see the future at Hershey's Canada.
But probably the most significant sign of Bud Light's troubles that we've seen so far is this video that somebody posted, I think, to TikTok. And this is from a Red Sox game this week. And you could see how busy or not so busy the Bud Light concession stand is compared to all the other concession stands. Let's see that.
Guys, this is so funny and bizarre. Look at that. That is the Bud Light. That is every single Bud Light stand here at Fenway Park in Boston. Right? We're at the Red Sox game. That's what the Bud Light stands for.
June is LGBTQ Pride Month, which means we're about to be inundated once again with lectures about celebrating sin and why biblical morality is intolerant and outdated. We've already seen an incredible number of corporations bow down to unbiblical ideologies, such as Bud Light, Target, and Adidas, and the number is only increasing. Of course, this is precisely the goal of this movement, which is to indoctrinate the entire population by completely normalizing this kind of behavior.
I mean, you can't turn on the TV without seeing it. Now there are commercials, and the commercials come out, and when the commercials are about, you see gay characters or gay couples in the commercials. They are everywhere, not everywhere. They're everywhere. It's beyond everywhere, right? You can't get away from it.
For many years already, Nike has already been promoting these unbiblical ideologies.
What is this? Nike, a huge corporation, has decided to partner with Dylan Mulvaney. He is going to be modeling for them. He is modeling for him as an ad partner, sponsoring their women's wear. Is that funny to anybody that just watched that? Is that cute to anybody that just watched that? Is that womanly to any person that just watched that? If you actually care about women, if you deem yourself to be a feminist, even if you don't deem yourself to be a feminist, if you deem yourself to be a moral individual, how do you not speak out against the fact that this man wearing woman face is now taking the spots of women?
There's also Coca-Cola, which has also been promoting unbiblical behavior for many years.
Love is love. Coca-Cola's new advertising campaign for their zero sugar drink, Coke Zero. And they use this hashtag as well as love is love. Zero sugar, zero prejudice. And this campaign launched in Budapest. What was different is they used same-sex couples. So this is one billboard at a bus station in the city, and it caused some controversy.
As Christians, it's important for us to not let the culture pressure us into staying silent about the truth that people need to hear to be saved. The enormous backlash against Bud Light for promoting the extremes of the LGBTQ movement came from more than just Christians. But this backlash showed that when a significant number of people push back against sinful ideologies, there are real effects that can affect the trajectory of a culture.
And I'll tell you something else. It is going to make brands in the future think long and hard before promoting transgenderism. There'll still be brands that do it. There are going to be brands that have a heavily left-wing customer base. They're not worried about it. There are going to be brands that figure, well, they're way too big and powerful to worry about it, so they can do whatever they want. I think Bud Light assumed that about itself. It assumed wrong. There may be some brands where that actually is true, where they can basically do whatever they want. You know, if you're Google or something, you can pretty much do whatever you want. But there are a lot of other brands that, you know, they would be susceptible to something like this. They have a heavily conservative, or not even conservative, just like a customer base of average, middle income, you know, normal Americans. And they are going to be very, very hesitant now, which is a good thing.
Similarly, when the NHL required its players to wear rainbow-colored jerseys to support Pride, enough players and fans pushed back against this decision to make the league change its position.
So this week, the commissioner of the National Hockey League, or NIL, said they will evaluate whether to continue Pride nights where players are expected to wear rainbow-colored jerseys to show support for the LGBTQ community. He says, quote, players may not feel comfortable wearing the uniform as a form of endorsement, and he calls it a distraction.
Here's Ivan Provorov protesting against the NHL's initial authoritarian decision about Pride-themed jerseys.
I respect everybody's choices. My choice is to stay true to myself and my religion. That's all I'm going to say.
Other NHL players, along with Ivan, protested what the NHL was trying to force them to do.
Then there's Eric and Mark Stahl from the Florida Panthers, who sat out warm-ups during last week's Pride Night game. They too cited religion, but also said, quote, we carry no judgment on how people choose to live their lives. All people should be welcome in hockey. And the entire Chicago Blackhawks team decided against wearing Pride jerseys because its Russian players don't want to be killed when they return home for embracing a lifestyle that Putin doesn't. Now you got at least 6 NHL teams deciding to nix the Pride jerseys altogether.
The success of the Bud Light boycott has led to attempts to make other companies see that if they embrace values that contradict the moral law revealed by God in the Bible, they might face similar backlash and experience similar consequences.
So Anthropologie released a photo shoot with a dude. This is a dude who is now wearing Anthropologie dresses. Now, my wife loves this stuff at Anthropologie. I'll tell you one thing, we're not shopping at Anthropologie anytime soon, because guess what? We are not fans of brands that patronize women by pretending that men can act like women or be women. By the way, this particular Instagram post by Anthropologie got such bad response that they had to shut off the comments.
If the Dylan Mulvaney thing wasn't cringy enough and stupid enough as a business, why would Miller do something like this? This is worse, in my opinion. This is worse than Dylan Mulvaney. Roll the clip.
Here's a little known fact. Women were among the very first to brew beer ever. From Mesopotamia to the Middle Ages to colonial America, women were the ones doing the brewing.
Although boycotts can certainly be effective in fighting back against the unbiblical ideologies being pushed upon us, we need to remember that boycotts will not ultimately save the culture or anyone's soul. In contrast to the culture, which says that we must celebrate all behavior that people may be inclined to, we as Christians must communicate to the culture that just because we might be inclined to a particular behavior does not make that behavior good and right. As fallen humans, we are all inclined towards sin, and we all must actively fight against sin that tempts us away from obedience to God's word.
I mean, suppose, we can say that I have a genetic predisposition toward violence. Does that make it okay? Because we can prove that I have a genetic predisposition? If I have a genetic predisposition toward drunkenness, does that make it okay? Officer pulls me over. Sir, you been drinking? Officer, I don't even know. Sir, you want to get out of the car? Okay, but before I do, you should need to know I got that drunk gene. Oh, well, sir, I'm sorry. Please weave on your way.
As Christians, we must not only fight culture wars for the glory of God, but we must also proclaim the full truth about sin and salvation through faith alone in Jesus Christ alone.
Good news for the perverse, because if you will recognize this as sin, see it for what it is, quit trying to defend it and sanctify it and justify it, confess it as the sin that it is, cry out to God, He'll forgive you and wash you and sanctify you and justify you. And dear ones, this is the message we have to give to these people. There isn't any other message.
Thank you so much for watching. If you like these videos and want to help support this channel, the best way to do it is to just watch these videos until the end and click the subscribe button. Thank you so much for your support and encouragement.